Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. I am Zoe or Zero, whichever you prefer, and I wanted to talk about how temporary things are in life and how as I get older I realize how temporary things are, unfortunately. But not necessarily unfortunately, because things are temporary and that's just the way that things are and that's okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Basically, I keep on worrying about these friendships. I keep losing friendships. Like, I've lost more friendships this year and this past year than I have in my entire life, I think. Like, I've lost so many friendships, and I don't know why, and it makes me feel like shit every single time that it happens, because I'm like, why am I losing friends? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what is going on? Why can't I keep these friendships? And it's always ends up being something that the other person was doing, or like an issue with the other person, because it's never something that I've initiated. Like, when I lose a friendship, it's something that's initiated by the other person and not by me. And so I'm like, I can't feel bad about it, because I mean, I'm allowed to feel bad about it, but like, I shouldn't blame myself for the way that other people feel about me, because that's not fair to myself, you know? It's just ridiculous. But I just need to keep on reminding myself that everything is temporary. Like, friendships are temporary, and people are meant to be in your life for only a certain amount of time sometimes, and sometimes that amount of time is really short, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just having that person in your life at all is just the lucky bit. Like, if you're lucky enough to have somebody in your life for any time at all, then you're lucky. Especially if that person is a good person. If that person's a bad person, then you're lucky that it's temporary, because then that person isn't in your life forever. And I think the older I get, the more I realize how important it is that things are temporary, because sometimes you're only meant to be friends with people for a certain amount of time. Like, if I was friends with the people that I was friends with in first grade, and I just collected friends, like, continuously throughout life, like, I just, like, started with, like, one friend, and then had 2 friends, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 12, and then 14, and then 25. Like, if I just never lost any friends, then I think my life would be insane, and I would have so many friends that I wouldn't have the same interests in, I wouldn't have similar interests with, and it would just be a whole waste of energy, and it would just be pointless. It would just be so pointless. Like, it's just ridiculous. But basically, everything is temporary, and I don't need to feel so shit about that, because everything is temporary for a reason, and that is a good reason, unfortunately. But fortunately at the same time. It's a double header. It's a double-sided coin. There's positive and negatives to both sides of it, and that's what's kind of annoying about it. Basically, everything is temporary, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I just need to get used to it, and I just need to get used to the fact that people will come and go out of my life like it's a door. People will come and go out of my house like it's a house party. People will come in, people will leave, and then somebody new will come in, and then that person will leave, and then somebody new will come in. And it's just it's a rotating cycle, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to constantly hold contact with all these people and feel so shit the second that I lose contact with somebody. And like, sometimes when you lose contact with somebody, it's going to be a shitty situation. Like, they're going to be talking shit about you, they're going to be blocking you on things or whatever, like, they're just treating you like shit, basically. And like, sometimes that happens, and that's just them. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with how you've dealt with the situation. And sometimes maybe you could have dealt with the situation a better way, but we're all learning, we're all growing as we are adults. We're all learning and growing as people, and so we're learning from our mistakes. And maybe you shouldn't have said something that you said to one person, and that's the reason that they're mad at you. But like, apologize. Like, learn from your mistakes. Don't let your mistakes drag you down. Don't let your mistakes tie you down, because it's ridiculous. You don't need to have your mistakes tying you down. You can just let them go like butterflies. Just make a mistake, fold it out into paper, and let it go like a little origami bird, you know? Like, this is just a metaphor, but you don't need to hold on to things. Basically, everything is temporary, so don't hold on to anything too tight. I think that's everything. But thank you for listening. I love you. Bye. Mwah. Am I out of focus? I can't tell because my eyesight is bad. Realizing I'm sitting on my headphones. Something that isn't temporary is Scooby's love for me. Just kidding. She hates me. She doesn't like me.